AK nerfed, but LMG got a buff? Pack, Krunker just released a new version 5.7.0 update, and today we're going to dive in and see what Krunker has brought to us today. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, then be sure to drop them in the comments down below, or in my Discord server, link on screen, or in my stream at twitch.tv/Quacky, where I'm live at 3 p.m. or 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that being said, let's get right into these new changes. Alrighty, Pack, so here we are now with Krunker launched up. Let's go ahead and take a look at the changelog here. I think the first thing that we notice here is the first note here on the changelog, with the font being more legible. I think it's the same font that they've used as normal, but the weight of it's kind of been reduced just so it looks a bit cleaner. And I really do enjoy this change. It's very subtle and a nice quality of life change. Next up, we have the 65 new skins added to spins. Let's go ahead and take a look at those now. Alrighty, Pack, so here we have the hub opened, set to the newest variety of skins here, and let's have a look and see if there's anything that really catches our eye here. There's some more noob skins. Ooh, look at this crypto blade. Okay, this looks pretty sick. Let's go ahead and have a deeper look into this one. It's actually a FACEIT knife. That's interesting. So this is one of the new FACEIT skins that'll be coming out. I'm gonna assume that this will probably be a battle pass skin, maybe for premium users, or probably a FACEIT point shop item. I guess we'll find out about that one. Looking more into these new skins, this anti-hero mask looks pretty sick. That's also a FACEIT item as well. Kind of gives like that Iron Man, Red Hulk kind of vibe to it. We also have some new melee models as well. I got this cool looking axe, the Grandmaster Smite. That's pretty sick, if I do say so myself. We also have the Hero's Might, which is a cool looking mallet. I do like how the pulsating glow seeks through the cracks of the mallet as well, so that's pretty freaking cool. Then we have a new Deagle model as well, which kind of reminds me of the Zapper a little bit, which is pretty sick as well. That's also a FACEIT skin. And then we have the Vulcan's V2000 assault rifle, which looks pretty nuts, if I do say so myself. Kind of reminds me of like an AUG a little bit. It is pretty sick though. And I think a lot of people will try to get this for sure. Then we have the Vulcan's chest, which is kind of like the helping hand sort of theme going on, but instead of the hands, obviously we got these little turret blasters going from the top here, which looks pretty sick. Then we have this Star Duster melee item here, which is kind of like a star with like some kind of shuriken vibe going on. Then we got some new knife models. Again, we got the Cyber Aliyah, which is not a FACEIT skin. And then we have this Dorange and Doppler, which are also not FACEIT skins. These are in the spins. And then we have this Data Corridor melee as well, which is also not a FACEIT item as well. So these are in the spins normally. All right, so next we have change how damage is calculated. We'll have a look at that later. They added tooltips to the streak selection window. So if you go to our customize here and go to streaks and we hover over each different streak, you can have a short description of what each one is all about here. So that's a very nice subtle change as well. Then we have a fix of the weapon class and effect configs with the host preset. So this is huge for the movement community who weren't able to host on the old LMG movement presets because it would always reset after every match. So now that should be fixed. So that's huge. They also fixed the Zapper being able to affect teammates without friendly fire. Never saw that myself. And then they fixed the Cyber Abyss and Patina weapon skin sizes if you guys use those. All right, so now we're on to a pretty controversial change here. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this one, but I feel like this will affect a lot of the competitive scene here. But the weapon ADS FOV power can no longer go below 0.3. So that's going to be a very huge change, and I'll have to wait and see what the community thinks about that one. If you guys don't know what the FOV power is, it's how far your weapon zooms in when you're aiming down your sight. Then they added a rounded and a float option to show damage. So it just kind of gives you a more accurate estimation of how much damage you're dealing with the show damage setting enabled. So I'll have a more in-depth look at that in a bit. And they also fixed the shadow thickness issue with the precision crosshair. So I'm assuming that's going to be where the shadow of the crosshair is actually taking over the crosshair itself, making it darker. So we'll have to wait and look into that one as well. All right, guys, so for the first balance change here, we have the assault rifle getting a fire rate nerf from 110 to 120. So this is now the fire rate of the AK. You can see it sounds a bit slower. I'll actually put up a clip of the old fire rate so you guys can get a nice comparison between the two. Alrighty, Pack. So the next thing we have here is that they changed the noob tube reload time from 2000 milliseconds, which was 2 seconds, to 1500 milliseconds, so 1.5 seconds. So if we go ahead and shoot the noob tube here, you know, it's noticeably louder, and I think it's a nice subtle change for those who enjoy the noob tube. Now I want to cover the Akimbo changes. So the changes here, we have the headshot multiplier going from 1.3 to 1.4, so now it does a little bit more headshot damage, and also does a bit more body damage, going from 12 to 13. They also increased the fire rate, going from 80 milliseconds to 100 milliseconds. So it's not the biggest change in the world, but damage wise, I think it needs some more play testing, but I do think this is a step in the right direction for sure for those who enjoy the Akimbo pistols. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see on this change here, but I think this is a pretty decent change. So now I would say we have the biggest part of the whole entire update, which is the spray and pray changes. So as you guys can see, the spray and pray health got increased from 180 to 230, but they did decrease the slide acceleration from 0.98 to 0.95, and they also increased the damage by 1 from 18 to 19. So if you go ahead and have a little slide here with LMG, as you can see, it's pretty slow, right? Like if I move around, it's quite slow, and it should be, you know, considering the LMG is like the tank class and tanks are usually very slow. And, you know, usually I could, you know, get at least 300 speed. I'm not like the best slide hopper in the world, but it is a pretty significant change in terms of speed, that's for sure. And if we go ahead and try out the damage here, it does 27.3 up close to the head. So let's go ahead and test that again. So we go up to our little player here. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting change. I think this is going to be a huge change for ranked for sure, especially for holding a point. I think LMG will definitely spice up the ranked portion of the game significantly. In terms of normal free-for-all, I'll have to wait and see on that one, but I think in terms of hardpoint, LMG is going to 100% be a must-pick no matter what. I'm sure of it. But do let me know your guys' thoughts on the LMG in the comments down below if you guys do enjoy this. Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and have a look at the War Machine changes here. They did quite a few things to the War Machine. So first off, they increased the explosive damage from 55 to 65. They increased the explosive scale from 55 to 70, and they increased the damage from 50 to 60. And they also removed the War Machine Impulse, which means that if you were to equip it like so, you can no longer shotgun jump with it like you could before. And testing out the War Machine now, that's pretty strong. That is quite strong. Note that this is a 100 HP class here. I think this will require a lot more play testing, but War Machine was always meant to be sort of that streak that gets you to the nuke, kind of like the Harrier to the chopper gunner to the nuke in MW2. Kind of like a bridging streak. So do keep that in mind. And last but certainly not least, we have the crossbow and the throwing knife being able to do headshots now. This doesn't mean that they have a headshot multiplier. Do keep that in mind. But I do think they just added this just so they can maybe add some kind of challenge to it. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for the 5.7.0 Krunker update. Let me know in the comments down below what your guys' thoughts are on all these new balance changes. I think it's nice to see a lot of new change coming into the game for sure. But this has been Quacky, and I will see you all in the next one.